Hey, what's going on, guys? Dante Trades here, and in this video we're going to be talking about all things Apex and covering some warnings and cautions that you definitely want to make sure that you pay attention to if you're going to be trading with Apex. So we're going to be doing an overview of the Apex trading rules, broken down simply so they're easy to understand. We're going to be talking about account sizes and deep diving into choosing the best account for your situation. And warning and caution here, this is super important because most people actually do this wrong. We're going to be talking about profit goals, contracts, the trailing threshold, road to payout, how to pack strategies, platform options, and I'm even going to be showing you how to set up your Eval account. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars from the markets, and if you want a 100% free futures trading course, go to dantetrades.com/free. The link will be in the description. Now let's just jump right into it. Apex credit in the bigger picture. So Apex actually pays the most monthly amongst all prop firms per Apex stats. The average monthly compensation since January 2023 is 15.4 million. You can actually see that on their website. So that's 15.5 million now. So that's absolutely massive. In the last 90 days, they paid out $51 million now. So again, these are just massive numbers. You want to follow the rules and you'll get paid, because a lot of people, they make a mistake with this and they don't actually understand or follow all the rules, and then they get their payouts denied. But you have to follow the rules and you'll get paid. So Apex is best for people who are scalpers and base hit kind of traders. If you're the kind of trader that, is swinging for the fences, or you usually have a bunch of like small winners or even small losses, and then you make this huge, 5, 10, 20 yard trade, you're going to struggle with Apex. That just is what it is. And we're going to talk about strategy a little bit here, but that's just the reality of the situation. So platforms and where to click. So if you want TradingView plus Tradovate or Ninja Trader, you want to go to the Tradovate plan. So if you actually go here on the website here, obviously if you're going to be trading wealth charts or the Rhythmic, then you would choose those. But if you're going to be trading Tradovate or TradingView or Ninja Trader, just choose the Tradovate plan here, which is what most people most likely are going to be trading. So you just want to make sure that you select that right. And again, just make sure you select the right account. This is super important as well, because if you select the wrong account, you're going to be absolutely cooked. You can't get a refund or anything like that. So just make sure that you select the right account. Obvious stuff there, but some people just mess that up. So we have to talk about that. So account sizes, cost, and choosing the best account. So this is super important. So you want to make sure that you pay a lot of attention here. And I think this is going to be eye-opening for a lot of people. So let's talk about the 25K account first. So the main thing that we're going to talk about here and we're going to be focusing on is going to be the contracts here. So you can see the contracts is 4. The profit goal is $1,500 and the trailing threshold is also $1,500. So again, with this $1,500 profit goal and the trailing threshold is also $1,500, we're going to give this a value of 1 or even below 1. It's easier. The higher that this value here gets, that just means the more difficult it is to pass the account, right? So 25K account is at a value of 1. That's really good. It's actually pretty easy to pass. But let's just talk about the 50K account, right? So for the 50K account, if we look here, the 50K account, the contracts are 10 contracts, and you can also trade micros as well. So 10 contracts or 100 micros, same exact amount of leverage. The profit goal is 3,000. The trailing threshold is 2,500, right? So if you look here, let's think about this logically. The profit goal goes from $1,500, right? $1,500, $1,500 to $3,000. The trailing threshold is the same here, so it goes from $1,500 to $2,500. So that's not too bad. It's only 1.2, so only a 20% difference, and you get a 250% increase in scale. So that's absolutely massive, right? So again, it's only slightly more difficult, but you get a 250% increase in scale. That's great, right? But watch what happens when you go to the next level. Look at this. So let's think about this. You go from a $3,000 profit goal on the 100K account. So let's just look at the 100K account. So on the 100K account, the profit goal is $6,000. The trailing threshold is 3,000, and the contracts that you get is 14, right? So you're going from $3,000 on the 50K to $6,000. That's a doubling increase, so doubling the difficulty. But on this, the trailing threshold, you're only getting an extra $500 in the drawdown, right? So the jump in difficulty here is incredible here, right? So you have to literally make double the amount of money and you only get a $500 increase in the trailing drawdown, and you only get a 40% increase in the scale, right? So here we got a 250 increase in the scale and we got a bunch more drawdown, almost double the drawdown. But here we're only getting a 40% increase in scale and only a $3,000 drawdown. So it's a lot more difficult for very little benefit. So just something to think about here, right? So in my opinion, the 50K is clearly the best product if you look at everything. And then the same thing for the 300K, right? So you have a $20,000 profit goal and only a 7,500 threshold. So the value here is going to be 2.66. So this is super, super hard, right? And again, let's just look on the website so you can see that the details on that, right? So this is the details: $20,000 profit goal, 7,500 and 35 micros, which is a lot of scale, right? So that's not to say that the 100K or the 300K are not good products, right? But for me and for honestly most people out there, I think the 50K is going to be the best product. That doesn't mean again that the 100K and 300K are bad products. Like you have a specific thing that you're trying to accomplish in mind, like you just want a certain amount of funding or exact certain amount of leverage and you can accomplish that with 50Ks, again, go right ahead, right? But if you actually look at the value for money, the 50K is clearly by far the best product. And also as well, you can scale like crazy. With 150K, you can literally make 5, 10K a month. So that's just my opinion on that. And for the rest of this video, we're just going to focus on the 50K accounts. So once you actually choose whatever account size that you want here from this page and you come to this page here, you can use the code Dante Trades to get literally 80 to 90% off on your evals. This is going to be absolutely massive. You want to make sure that when you come into here, you actually put the coupon code inside of this. You want to make sure when you come here, you actually put the coupon code inside on the purchase. For whatever reason on Apex, when you actually click the link, it does not automatically apply that 80 to 90% discount for you. Again, going to give you a massive discount from $187 to about $18 to $30, and you're going to just get whatever the best discount is and offer that they're running. You're going to get the best code for if you use the code Dante Trades, and obviously it helps the channel as well. So it's just going to be a win-win situation. So let's go to the next slide. So 50K eval core specs. So we talked about this. The max size is 10 minis over 100 micros. 1 mini is 10 micros. The profit goal is 3,000. The trailing drawdown is 2,500 intraday. And we're going to talk about this, what this means and how to beat these specific strategies. And also there's no daily loss limit on the 50K eval. So that means there's no daily loss limit and there's no scaling plan. So what that means is you can use this full size, so the full 10 minis or 100 micros, you can use this from the first day that you actually start. You don't have to wait. So a lot of prop firms, when you actually start with them, you can't use the full size like right out the gate, but here you can use the full contract size right out the gate, and there's no daily loss limit, right? So there you go. So included with the 50K eval, you can trade directly from TradingView, web, mobile, Mac, and Windows. And the Tradovate license is included. NinjaTrader is available if you trade with NinjaTrader, and that's a $75 value. And a real-time level 1 data is included as well. That normally costs about 50 bucks a month. So again, that's obviously included, so that's great. And the eval pricing and discount. So the list price on Apex for the 50K is normally $187, as you can see there. So normally $187, but Apex almost always has discounts. So again, you can use the code Dante Trades for 80 to 90% off. And a 50K eval at the max 90% off is around $18. So that's an incredible deal. So you want to make sure that you're always just taking advantage of that, because that's super duper important when we talk about the strategy that we're going to get into here later. So multi-account strategy. So Apex allows 20 active PA accounts at once, and you can copy trade this across multiple accounts, and Tradovate supports this, right? And a trade example here, so you can understand the power, is if you have 20 Apex accounts and you make one trade that's worth $200, so one trade that's worth $200. That scaled across 200 accounts, it's going to be $4,000 in total. And also as well, when you're using multiple accounts, you don't have to actually, risk that much, right? You can just risk $200 and make 4,000 versus if you were trying to do the same thing in a smaller account or less accounts, you would just have to risk a lot more to actually reach that target, right? So the first 25K per account is yours. So if you have 20 accounts, that's $500,000, right? That's obviously a lot of money. Gonna take some time to get there, but that's just letting you know that's really the main skill with Apex. No other platform allows you to have 20 accounts. So Apex main strength is the scale, right? So eval, rules, and simple checklist. So obviously to pass the eval, you have to hit the profit target of $3,000. Don't hit the trailing drawdown of $2,500. So this is intraday. So this drawdown is intraday. So that means that it follows you from equity highs. And I'm going to be breaking down exactly what that means and how to beat this. And the time to pass is 1 day, right? So you can pass these in 1 day. And again, we're going to be talking about that. So you can pass this in just 1 day. And just know you got to be flat by end of the day. So you can't hold trades for swing trades for like multiple days or whatever it is. With Apex, you do have to close your trades at the end of each day at 4:59 EST, right? So there's no consistency rule during the eval stage as well. So again, you can just pass these in 1 day. So now I'm just going to break down to you intraday trailing drawdown. What does it mean? And how we beat this, right? So let's just use the example. Let's just say you have a 50K account, right? So a 50K account, right? And let's say inside of that 50K account, you have a winning trade. You have a winning trade, and that trade is worth 2.6K, right? So that means that that's going to bring your balance to 52.6K, right? So what would happen is with Apex, if you have that, if your account here is at 52.6K, and even if, let's say for example, you're just trying to like swing for the fences and pass the account in just one trade, and even if you bring your trade up to break even and the trade in your account goes back to 50K, so technically you didn't really lose money, it's going to still count from your highest balance, right? So you had 52.6K at your highest balance in your account. And if you let that trade go back against you BE, you're going to be what we call absolutely cooked, right? They're going to take your account away from you, and it's just going to be bad news, right? So you can't let big trades go BE against you in these Apex accounts or even red, right? So you have to be very, very meticulous and trail your stops really tight, right? So that trailing drawdown, it just follows you from your highest balance, right? Even if, because if you were in a real account, obviously, you could just let that ride, but you just have to trade a little bit different when you're going to be inside of these prop firms, right? So just something to be aware. So again, take profit at the target. Don't let big green trades turn against you or even break even, because those break even trades will be counted against you, right? So actively trail your stops tight when you're in profit. You want to aim for base hits and compound consistent wins, right? So reset versus the eval. So the reset on all evals is $100 on all sizes, but realistically it is cheaper to buy a new eval. Again, if you're going to get an eval, if a new eval costs, $33 to $18 or whatever it is, it's just cheaper, right? Like, think about it. Why would I reset it for $100 when I could just pay literally 70% less or 80% less just to reset it? Just to buy a new account. So in all cases, I just get new accounts. I never really reset Apex, right? So now we're going to talk about strategy. So Apex eval mindset. So what I do is I wait for an A+ setup. And if you want the specifics on like what do I look for in my A+ setups, I'm going to pop a video up right here and I'll go more into like what do I count as an A+ setup and exactly what I'm looking for, and walk you through examples of how I've passed Apex accounts in the past. So you can watch that there, or again, you can really go deep and get a free trading course at dantetrades.com/free. And I literally break down all my trades. Like today I had like a $700 trade. Yesterday we made like $400 and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just really walking you through these things a lot more deeply, like in the course. And again, that's 100% free, so you can watch the video here or get that course. But anyway, I'm waiting for an A+ setup, and with Apex specifically, I'm going for a full size trade to quick pass. So on Apex, the max size that you need, so on Apex with a 50K account, with 10 contracts to hit a $3,000 profit goal, you need 15 points to win, right? It's actually like 15.5 points, so 15 points and some change. So on Apex specifically, I do this because they allow this. I focus on one clean win, right? It's much easier to get one 15-point trade. It is not hard to get a 15-point trade than to piece together like a bunch of small trades over a week, right? And the reason why I do this on Apex specifically is because I'm not spending a week or a week plus trading a $18 to $30 eval. Once I actually get into the PA, then my strategy changes and I'm trying to be a little bit more consistent. But that's kind of like the beauty with Apex and what they allow you to do is really, really cheap evals, and you can kind of, just kind of go with that turn and burn kind of method with them. And for me personally, I know my numbers. So my win rate is roughly around a 72% win rate. So far this week, I actually have a 100% win rate, but that's not realistic. Realistically speaking, my win rate is usually around 72%, sometimes a little bit higher, sometimes a little bit lower. So me, again, I would rather just know that I have like a 70+% chance of like winning my trade in one trade than to sit around for a week trading these evals. So that's why it's really important to make sure you get the accounts for as cheap as possible, at least for how I try to trade Apex, and that's the benefit with them, right? So again, if you fail, just know that it's kind of part of the plan, and the resets are cheap, and I try again. So again, once they have their biggest sales, usually I just bulk buy my accounts by like 5 at a time or something like that for like $100, $120, and then we just pass them quickly. So the funded stage costs. The 50K activation fee for the Tradovate plans, they cost $160 one time, or you could pay $105 monthly. But with discounts, it can be as cheap as $85 for a lifetime. So again, whatever best discount they're running, that's what you're going to get at that time. So the total example cost would be, if you do the eval plus the activation fee, you're going to be looking at a $193 to fund it. The funded stage payout eligibility. So you can request a payout every 8 trading days. So they require 5 out of those 8 days to be a $50 profit or more. The other 3 days can be red, right? And you have a 30% consistency rule. So your best day cannot be 30% of the total account performance. So let's just say if you had reached the $3,000 profit goal in your account and you wanted to take profit, you wanted to request a payout, the best day cannot be more than $900 in this case, because $900 is 30% of 3,000. So again, that's why we say like, you can't be a trader that's just with Apex specifically that just has these huge winning days, because what's going to happen is, let's say for example, if you have a bunch of like small days and then you find this one A+ setup and you just put a bunch of capital into it and this kind of stuff and it works out. Let's say you have a $2,000 plus trade. That's good normally, but with Apex specifically, now you have to trade the account. You have to have a lot more trades to actually, bring that consistency rule down to 30% so you can actually get a payout. So again, if you the kind of trader that really swings for the fences and have these huge R-to-R trades, risk to reward trades, you're going to probably struggle a little bit with Apex. So just know that consistency rule is definitely something you have to pay attention to get those payouts. So now we're going to talk about the safety net and trailing stop. So a lot of people get confused with this. So your safety net equals your max drawdown plus $100, right? So again, on the 50K account, the trailing drawdown is $2,500. So it would be $2,500 plus $100. That's going to give you a total of $2,600, right? So once the account profit is greater than $2,600, you can request a payout, right? And the minimum allowed for a payout is $500, and you can request $500 into the safety net. So if you request $500, you will be left with $2,100. You cannot go below that $2,100, right? And the intraday trailing drawdown stops from there. So once you reach your safety net, which is the $2,600, your trailing drawdown stops from there, the intraday trailing drawdown, and you can kind of just build that profit. So if you want to withdraw more than $500, so let's say for this example, you want to withdraw $1,200. So your account balance must be $53,300 before withdrawing this, because $53,000 minus $1,200, it's going to give you that $2,100 that we talked about. And remember what we said here, you can withdraw up to $500 into your trailing drawdown, and that's going to leave you with $2,100. So here you can withdraw that because, again, $1,200 minus $53,300 is still going to leave you with that $2,100. So if you want to withdraw bigger amounts, you just have to make sure that the amount that you withdraw doesn't bring you below this 2,100 balance, right? So they do have leverage. So Apex does have leverage limits into the safety net as well. So before you reach your safety net of $2,600, you can only trade 5 minis or 50 micros, which is half the leverage. And on a 50K account, this is absolutely insane leverage. That's more than enough. You really probably shouldn't be trading like in the actual PA account. Trading that much leverage is pretty wild, right? Like the eval stage is one thing, but trading, 5 minis before you even reached your trailing drawdown, probably not a great idea. But after the safety net is reached, then you can use normal leverage permissions. So again, just know that again, five minis is way more than enough, but until you reach your safety net, you can use half, which again is still enough. So risk rules to avoid denial. So your max stop distance can be more than 5-hour cap on the downside. So let's say, for example, if you're risking, let's just say you're risking $500. So you're risking $500. Your target can't be like $50, right? If you're doing that, that's obviously like trash trading in my opinion. I don't know why you would be risking $500 to make, $50. So you really shouldn't be doing that anyway, but your risk can't be more than 5R for your than your reward, right? So no single open trade may move against you by 30% of your account balance. So again, let's just say if you have a $53,000 account balance, right? So 53K, you can't have any open trade move against you more than $900 because again, that will be more than 30% of your entire account balance. So you just have to be, again, just taking those base hits when it comes to Apex and no like really big, huge wild swings. And you must keep your position sizing consistent, so they don't like when you get in the system. So let's say you trade 10 cons to get one big winning trade, and then you secure 2 cons, and then you start trading 2 cons to secure a payout. They don't like that, so they like you to keep it consistent. Reasonable adjustments for volatility and scaling up are allowed, but just know that you have to be like really consistent with your use of contracts. So payout caps and scaling. So on the 50K accounts, the first 5 payouts are capped at $2,000 per request on the account. But from the 6th payout, there's no cap, and you can withdraw 100%. So you can just scale to bypass the payout caps, right? So if you have 5x accounts times $2,000, that's $10,000 per request, right? So more accounts you have, you can just kind of bypass that altogether. So funded trading game plan. So you want to stick to base hits until the safety net is reached. After the safety net is reached, you want to let your winners run more if desired. And you want to stick to your plan and just keep the sizing consistent and manage risk daily. So one thing you really want to think about is prop firms are just tools. Think of prop firms like training wheels on a bike. Just like I used to be trading heavily in crypto, and we say not your keys, not your crypto. So with prop firms, it's not your money, not your profits until you withdraw that into the account. And you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes with these companies, right? So you want to be aggressively withdrawing into your account. So not your capital, not your profits. So you want to always aim to build your own account. That's the actual goal, right? Because you never, again, really know what's going on behind the scenes. So you just want to use them as tools to build towards your own account. So the 4 payout rule, don't stop at your first payout. It might just be luck when it comes to prop firms. After 4 payouts, in my opinion, you've proven that you can trade consistently. Then you want to start saving money towards your own account. So if you just get 1 payout, then you just go into your own account. A little bit, not as much data, but once you get like 4 payouts plus, then you're pretty much proven that you're really consistent, especially with Apex with their super difficult rules, right? So now once you actually purchase your Apex account, I'm going to just show you how to actually set your account up here. once you actually purchase your Apex account, you're going to go into here and it's going to say, it's going to give you your account information here. And then right here, it's going to say username and password. And then you're going to copy your username and your password and paste that into the Tradovate website. And once you paste that into the Tradovate website, it's going to give you a user agreement. It's going to ask you, are you a professional trader? You're going to select no. And then you're just going to literally agree to, trading with Apex and sign the agreements. And then once you actually log in and you sign all the agreements, it's going to bring you to this page and you're going to see your Apex account there. And that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed that video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe for the channel. And also as well, you can get a 100% free $197 course for free at dantetrades.com/free. And the link is in the description. And that's pretty much it. Check out the other videos on the channel and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.